Welcome to a tutorial about the game of chess. If it is the first time you are going to be playing chess, this is the tutorial that you must watch. If you are an experienced player, then I don't think there is any value for you to watch this video unless you want to just have fun and remember the good old days when you started playing chess. I have set up the board in such a way that the board shows what pieces can be played, and initially when you open the board, if you look at the board carefully, you can see that there are a set of pieces that look very much alike. They are actually the smallest pieces on the chessboard, and they are called the pawns. That is the first line, front row of both your sides, the white side as well as the black side. Now the front row pawns are able to move. The units behind the pawn, the second line, most of the units cannot move other than the knight. If you look below, you would see two horse heads. They are called the knights. We will use horse or knight as we have the conversation, but even the horses can make the first move. Now, uh, the other units which are behind, let's have a look at the other units. Uh, the one I'm touching on right now, the red highlight, that is the rook, and you have two rooks on either sides. And then you have the bishop, which is the one I'm touching on right now, or it's also called the elephant. So that's two elephants on two sides. And in the white, if you look at it, the white queen sits in the white base, right? That's a queen. And the white king, the poor king, adjusts and agrees to sit in the black square. And on the opposite side also, if you look at it, the queen sits over here on the white queen sits on the white square, and on the opposite side the black queen sits on the black square. So always queens get what they want. Now, the whole idea of this game is to lock this king in a move called the check. So, both the sides are going to try and achieve this. So, let's make our first move. And there are two ways you can make the first move. You can pick on a pawn, and the pawn is allowed to move two spaces forward in the opening move, only during the opening move. Afterwards, the pawn can move only one space. We will look at that later. So here I am opening the pawn in front of the king. Why? Because that is a very powerful move, and you will soon learn why. So I have moved the pawn in front of the king, and now the game has gone to our opponent, and the opponent also does the same move. But now I'm going to move the pawn in front of the bishop one space because I can. I can move the pawn one space. Now, on the opposite end, what happens is the opponent moves the pawn in front of the queen two spaces. Now, our pawn and the pawn of the opponent are facing each other. If you look at it, you can see that when I have selected this pawn, it does not allow me to kill the pawn in front of me. Rather, it allows me to kill the pawn on the side. That's the way the pawn can eliminate the opponent's players only diagonally. It cannot go straight and eliminate. It can only eliminate diagonally. So let's take the opportunity and eliminate the pawn of the opponent. Yes. Now the opponent has lost one pawn and the game must go on. So basically that's the most beginners tutorial for chess. Now let's do one thing. Let's look at another move. So we already saw the bishop. So the bishop can move diagonally, right? So let's take the bishop and move the bishop forward here. So now it's our move again. Now look, if you look at this pawn does not have a move, the pawn in the front. That's because the pawn cannot move forward if there is a unit blocking it. It is stuck over there. And it cannot move diagonally because there is nobody by the side. Now, since they have played the bishop, what we are going to do is we are going to play the knight. Now, the specialty of the knight is the knight placed like an L shape. So, two steps forward, one step left, two steps forward, one step right, two steps sideways, one step right, two steps sideways, one step left. That's the way the knight goes. So let's take the knight and keep it there. Excellent. So we are going to bring the queen from the opponent forward. The game is developing. We need to move the rook. So moving another pawn, we take one step forward with that. And now the opponent also brings out a knight, a horse. Oh, that's a good opportunity. Let's kill the knight over there, right? We can do that. But I want to show you how the rook moves. So I'm making another move. I'm making the rook move two steps forward. The rook only moves straight ahead. The rook does not have another move. Okay. So this is how chess is played. So I hope you have had a little bit of basics idea, right? And now let's move on further. Now I'm going to threaten the knight over there. I have taken the pawn forward. Now the knight finds an opportunity here, and the opponent thinks they have made a smart move, but little do they know that they are standing right in the sight of my bishop. Now my bishop is going to kill the knight. There we go. We have eliminated the knight from the game. The whole idea of chess is to eliminate the opponent's units so it becomes easier for you to checkmate the king. The opponent now is threatening us to kill our knight. What do we do? Now, the knight or the bishop of the opponent is threatening the knight, but if I move the knight from the spot where it is, what happens is the bishop gets an opportunity to kill the queen. I don't want this to happen, but I want to show you for demonstration purposes what this is and the dangers of this and how you can use it when you're playing. This is called a pin. Now the horse has been pinned by the opponent. I won't make it in vain. I will kill the pawn as I die. Now the bishop of the opponent moves forward and eliminates our queen, which is the most powerful unit after the king. What to do? Can we kill the bishop with the king? Yes, we can. Can we kill the bishop with the pawn? No, we can't. And can we kill the bishop with another bishop? We cannot. In your game, there is one white bishop, there is one black bishop, and a black bishop will never, ever in the game by any chance go on the opposite color. So we have to eliminate this bishop using the king. Oh, wait, what is that? What is that blue dot? There is a special move to protect the king always. The king can castle. Now, what is castle? The moment you take the king and you place the king in the blue spot, the rook over here will jump forward and cover the king. That is a move in chess, but when you're playing digital chess, you just have to touch the king and then touch on this column. Now, the rule is in order to castle, that must be your first move of both the rook and the king, and you can do it in either direction, but there should not be any unit in between these two, and also there should not be a check by any of the opponent's units into this empty space. So we have the empty space. So instead of killing the bishop, we are going to make a castling move. Yes, that's what we have done. Now, the opponent is feeling very confident now that they have taken the uh, queen. Now, the queen plays, brings forward, and eliminates the bishop. I think that was the point. Okay, so I think you have got an idea about the basics of chess, but now we have an opportunity to capture the bishop. So let's capture the bishop. And this is the way the game will keep continuing until the king goes into checkmate. So there's a black heaven. Look at this. Look at this. Now the black queen is protected by the black bishop. So if the black queen comes here, eliminates or captures this pawn, we are in check. Our king has been put in check right now. We cannot kill the queen because there is a bishop protecting the queen. The king cannot kill any unit that is protected. The king cannot kill it. Okay. Other units can kill other units if they are, even if they are protected, they will just lose their lives. But the king cannot kill. Okay. Now we take one step back, which is the only move we have, and then the opponent uh, keeps the queen forward again, making it a check. We're stuck. What do we do? What do we do? We move the king out of harm's way, and now the queen can in fact kill this rook, but the queen does not do that, because if the queen kills the rook, the king might kill the queen. So the opponent's queen goes back. Again, there is another check. What do we do about it? What do we do? So the king jumps down, and then the game moves forward. We miss the fact that we can kill this elephant right now. We miss it, and we miss an opportunity, and instead we move the rook and we call a check. Now, the black can either take the knight and place it in front of the king to block the check which is coming from the rook, or they can use the queen and block it over here, or they can take the bishop and block it over here. See, the idea is to block this check call or move the king away from harm's way. So let's try to do this. Move the king, the opponent moved the king, and now we have to make our move. We are now taking the pawn and going forward. Now what's happening? The queen is moving forward and then straight against our king. Now we take the rook forward to kill and eliminate this threat, the bishop, but the opponent moves forward and locks the king. The king cannot kill the queen because the bishop is protecting the queen, and this game is called a checkmate. Hope you enjoyed watching the very first basic tutorial of chess, and looking forward to see you in